Kay took my baby away. Orient Point, where I was headed, was the place I gave up rock and roll guitar for good, 15 years before, after I mistook Joey DeGennaro's fridge in a bourbon-inspired blindness and pissed into the salad crisper. The Point was also the terminal for the New London Ferry. I needed the 9 a.m., so I pushed the Corolla and even hit 95 until the road got bumpy and the old floozy with so many miles on her began to wobble. A half hour later, the sun was up, and I joined all the New York plates speeding east. I made time on the Sunrise Highway, but weather was against me, and everything overhead turned black again. The only colors on the horizon were the red and electric green of stoplights in a long perspective. A snarl of traffic stopped me a mile after Nageltown, and I closed my eyes, suddenly winded by the lack of motion. It was the worst, this paralysis in the humidity, this long moment of traffic death. With my fist on the wheel, I leaned on the armrest in the window. I rubbed my eyes. I wanted, for the first time in days, to sleep. At last I got through Riverton. I rode like lightning up the ramp onto the LIE and over a hump and accelerated almost to 100 on a sweet little downgrade. I had another swallow and decided it wasn't so much the road as the Beefeater and Sprite that kept me alive and moving, as long as the traffic was alive and moving and if I took just one swallow at a time. I had half the liter left and made several dozen more miles, checking my rear view for cops, pushing the time, watching the sky blossom like a black and yellow flower overhead. I'd been thinking about the boys, about Lizzie with her salt and pepper pigtails, her little smart-ass smile, her face freckled by the hot New England summer. I missed the way she screeched when I licked her or put my tongue in her ear. She howled for joy, too, in those days long ago. And I loved the blue mascara and the way she used to jump when she danced in her stripy tights and that little red leather miniskirt with the rip in it. So I had another long gulp, and the poisonous little sac behind my eyes began to secrete. I punched the wheel softly. I knew the treachery of sentiment too well, but I couldn't wait to find out what Tommy had made of the network he built in the basement from the electronics he scavenged from Lizzie's job. And Lucian. Oh, Luciano, my sweet little 11-year-old transvestite with the eyeliner and the ribbons in his long, rose-colored hair. Had he grown out of it yet? I hadn't done too well by them, but what I wanted now, with all the mercury in my veins, was to get home. Lizzie told me never to come back. True. And after I called Tommy from a truck stop in Virginia to tell him I was all right, the day after I left, she had the landline disconnected. But all this wasn't entirely my fault. Her third abortion and her inability to even discuss it was what destroyed everything. The boys in school one October morning, we sat at our Zivians in Watertown, a sick day for her, and smoked at the back table. If there were no Puritans around, our Zivian let the Armenians smoke inside, and by then I was an honorary Armenian, by marriage, I guessed, or by divorce. Lizzie put her Winston down on a plate. We watched the smoke uncoil like barbed wire through the window. Only the first was thanks to me, I said. And this one? You were fine with the first. That was before Tommy and Lucian. I had no clue what it meant. I should never have told you about the second, she said. It was none of your business. How none of my business? What business is there of yours that's none of mine? We were married 15 years. Divorced for 2, she said. Oh, stop that, I said. You need to get a decent job, she said. She hissed it. Define decent, I said, hissing back. Why don't I take a job, working for GE building nuclear power plants, huh? Or better, nuclear bombs. We could live in Weston. I went to pretty good school, for a while. Maybe I could become a lawyer or corporate baby killer, hey? Don't be an ass, she said. You need to pay bills. You couldn't get in law school if your mother was the Virgin Mary. I pay bills.